Request Babita to welcome Shri Rajan Jadhav. Thank you, everyone. So let me introduce you to our moderator of the session, Shri Prahlad Suktankar. He is a co-founder of a very popular restaurant brand in India, that is Black Sheep Bistro. Prahlad Suktankar graduated with a BBA in Marketing and Hospitality Institute from Les Roches, Switzerland. He has worked with several leading hotels of the world in Switzerland and Ireland. He is also a faculty at VM Salgaonkar Institute of International Hospitality Education, Goa. He is current head of National Restaurant Association of India, Goa chapter. I welcome you, sir, to this session and request you to come over to the podium and introduce all our esteemed panelists to the audience and begin this technical session on this topic, cracking the nut, innovations in cashew-based products. This session will be of 1 hour.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's panel discussion on cracking the nut, pioneering innovation in cashew-based products. I'm thrilled to introduce our esteemed panelists who are at the forefront of innovation in this industry. Starting with Mr. Prachit Sanchetis. His 7-year journey across diverse fields took an intriguing turn during the lockdown. Exploring fermentation with fresh perspectives, he mastered koji-based techniques and launched the Brown Koji Boy to blend traditional and modern flavors in Indian cuisine, inspired by the global surge in miso and soy sauce options. Our next panelist, Ms. Aparna Bhatia, a founder of Saurasa Vegan Creamery in Anjuna. Passionate about animal welfare and sustainability, she crafts high-quality plant-based dairy alternatives using wholesome ingredients. Saurasa is celebrated in top restaurants for its commitment to compassion and sustainability, and thanks to Aparna's visionary leadership. Meet Purva Verlekar. She's spearheading the Goan project in Goa. Her mission is to protect biodiversity while empowering locals with innovative products for their sustainable livelihoods. And lastly, Mr. Rajendra Jadhav, CEO of Goan Fest Foods Private Limited. He leads our mission to tackle post-harvest losses in the Goan and Konkan region by developing innovative food products from local produce. Mr. Jadhav's expertise ensures our products maintain authentic flavors while meeting global standards. He is committed to building a seamless farm-to-factory supply chain and promoting the brand Goan Fest nationally and internationally. So welcome all. Let's kick things off with our first panelist, Mr. Sancheti. Prachit, could you please share with us the journey of creating miso from cashew nuts and other fermented products, and what are some of the challenges you faced in the process?
So, so typically, for those who don't know what a miso is, it's fermented soybean paste used widely in Japan for a range of soups, noodle bowls, salads, and other dressings. So we took that same concept and started applying it to sort of Indian pulses. And one thing, being in Goa, we were like, why don't we apply it to cashews? And using that sort of as a background, we created, I think, about 4 varieties of cashew miso and sort of cashew products based on the koji-based koji fermentation techniques. The most simplest or the sweetest one that we have is just a roasted cashew miso that we typically just take cashew nuts, we roast them in the oven at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time, and that is then blended with koji rice, which is fermented rice. Essentially, that's your starter, and that's grown on local Goan rice, and that's blended together and aged for 2 weeks. The biggest sort of, from understanding the aspect of the fat, it creates a lot of rancidity that we faced early on, and adjusting temperatures, adjusting to how you can develop something that would still be very, very savory, nutty, and sweet at the same time. So there were a lot of processes that we had to change once we scaled it up. So essentially, when we roast the cashews, we don't immediately blend it with the koji. We actually freeze it overnight to cool it down. Then we blend it just so that it doesn't release a lot of its oils. And then that's again, mixed out with the koji and the salt. But then we also wanted to create something that had the age character, the depth that a lot of the other misos that are here. So we kind of worked out a formula where, we looked at cashew as the flavoring or the main base, and then started aging it with like really aged or mature products that we used to do, which is made from Watana. So it's an 8-month age or 9-month age Watana miso that we do, that is then blended with a young cashew miso, and then we add other sort of ferments to it to kind of allow it to come together in a very nice, wholesome manner. And miso is sort of one of the things that we focus on, and the other thing is we take feni. So in Japan you have this thing called mirin, which is essentially like a cooking wine. So we took that same principle and applied it to feni, and it yields, it almost goes back to the Iraq stage because of the conversion of the sugars, and you get something that's about 18 to 22% alcohol, but has really nice flavor, really nice depth and character and body to it, which is wonderful to use in cooking, but also great to just have as a drink on the rocks itself. Otherwise, in terms of doing simple applications, we do a cashew chili crunch, which takes in just cashews and curry leaf. But one thing that we kind of really worked on to kind of have a product after product for end usage was a Goan pesto. So just a pesto is a reference, but we took kokum, curry leaves, and the cashew miso as a base to create this pesto that works wonderfully in sort of gnocchis and pastas as well, but really good with seafood, really good with just a toast as well. And yeah, for us, essentially that's where we've been at with the cashew in general. But the work that we've been doing, which we've not really released yet, is with the cashew fruit itself, is understanding how to cure it or how to ferment it further by aging it in a bed of a miso and then dehydrating it, where you get almost a consistency of a jerky, and it's really flavorful. Almost doesn't taste like cashew after a certain point, but yields delicious results nonetheless.
Thank you so much, Prachit. For the audience who might not be familiar with the miso on a regular basis, I just wanted to sort of explain that, when the restaurant industry all across India would buy miso from Japan before, and then these would cost, just explaining it as in how bottom line it affected the industry, your product. So we used to buy this miso, which was 1,500, 2,000 for a kilo or even more than that. And what Prachit did is, through his innovative process, he is now making miso in India using our local ingredients, things like dal, pulses, cashew, whatever is available in the local market. And he's able to brought down the price, and now everybody is buying from him. Also, everybody uses soy sauce, but soy sauce actually comes under the category of tamari. Am I correct? Or some?
Yeah, so the original form... Hello. Yeah, so soy sauce, essentially the origination of it was tamari. Tamari in Japanese means pool of liquid. And that was not brewed. It was through when you make a miso, when it's pressed down, the pool of liquid that rises up through through osmosis and the salt content, and that was collected and harvested out and sold as the product. But obviously, in a even a 10 kg batch, you only yield about 700 ml of it. So the Japanese kind of reworked that entire formula and created soy sauce by using roasted wheat and soybeans, and then started brewing it to create soy sauce. And what we've done essentially is take that same principle and created a non-soy sauce, if you want to say it in that way. But we use chana dal or we use rajma and create these sort of liquids. But what we do is ferment them for the right amount of time, which is 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, be it that way, because majority of the soy sauces we get out here in the Indian market right now are done in a 3-day or 7-day process through hydrolysis and like protein breakdowns using enzymes, which doesn't give you the character or depth, and that's why they're able to sell it to you at 100 rupees or 200 rupees for the bottle.
So we've got a whole extra amount of flavors, not just soy, but like whole. So thank you so much, Prachit. Now turning to our next panelist, Aparna. How did you come up with the idea of making vegan cashew cheese, and what sets it apart from traditional dairy-based cheeses in terms of taste and texture?
So my journey began actually because of my fascination towards veganism and sustainability. So that's what led me to explore the whole world of non-dairy alternatives. So this was about in 2018 when my husband, my son and I, we went vegan. In 2018, we watched some very hard-hitting documentaries on environment, the effects of animal agriculture on environment. So that's what, and that time in India, I think not too many alternatives were available, So that time my husband still used to travel a lot abroad, and he used to bring back a lot of vegan cheeses, But then the lockdown hit and his travel stopped. So I literally found myself at a, I had to go ahead and explore on my own. So that's where my journey started, where I started experimenting with a lot of local products like, of course, cashew, almond, soy, coconut milk. And I also did a course in vegan cheese making. So that kind of, that really helped me up my knowledge of cheese making as such. And from there, I think experimenting with different things, and even with because of the course that I did, it was from this Spanish academy in online, and so that's when I started experimenting, and so a lot of the recipes that I created, even though I learned like about 32 varieties of cheese making, I did my own recipes. I created my own recipes because keeping in mind the Indian palate, So I used to experiment, and I used to make my friends and family taste it, and the kind of feedback that I got from them. So in 2021, end of 2021 is when I launched, when I started Sausa Vegan Creamery. So then, see, cashew as such is a very versatile nut, and it really cashew, it's got a very neutral flavor. It's got a very lovely texture. So it really imitates, it replicates your dairy cheese quite closely in terms of richness. It also, when you soak and you blend cashews, it gives a very smooth consistency, almost like a cheese-like consistency, And then obviously when you start fermenting cashew, so it gives you like a whole new burst of flavors, So it really adds to developing. It really helped me develop a lot of new flavors, textures, and also it acts as a preservative. The fermentation part acts as a preservative, so that really helped. And so I created recipes, like I created mozzarella cheese, which primarily uses actually peanut milk a lot, and also cashew cream is what I use in that. And mozzarella did very well in restaurants, even now, mozzarella. Then I use butter also. Even my butter uses, I use fermented cashew paste, which gives it that real buttery taste, So that, and then
Would you be able to tell us how is it different from the regular cheese, in terms of taste and texture?
So actually, my goal has never been to completely replicate dairy. It is mainly, I want it to on its own be a product which really stands on its own, in terms of flavor and taste. Like I said, cashew is actually it's a very neutral taste to cashew, but because of the consistency and all, and because of the fermenting and even adding the seasoning and everything, it really opens a whole array of flavors, So dairy, obviously, the ill effects of dairy are also extremely. If you research on that, you'll see that the ill effects of dairy, now everybody kind of knows it, and that's the reason cashew, though people think it's very high in cholesterol and all of that, but cashew is actually cholesterol free, and also fermentation helps it become more, soaking helps it become more digestible. Fermenting is also good. The good bacteria that we use to ferment it is good for our gut, so there are a lot of good things.
So all our audience today are obviously thinking, where can they try some of your cheese? Is there anywhere in the Cashew Fest that people can try your cheese?
So I don't know if Melt Pizza has a
I think they
counter.
do,
Yeah. So he's using my cheese in his pizza. So maybe if you can try this year, I couldn't do a stall because I was busy with something else. But next year I'll surely have a stall. And otherwise I do based on orders because I don't use preservatives. So the shelf life is not very big. So I make in small batches, which also make sure that there is quality ingredients used, and I'm sourcing the cashews also locally. So everything is basically I'm using Indian resources for it.
Thank you, Aparna. Now let's hear from Purva Berlikar. Purva, could you elaborate on the innovative products your project Goan has developed to conserve Goa's biodiversity, and how do you ensure sustainability in production?
So let me first introduce what Goan. Goan is a project developed by Goa State Biodiversity Board, which is aimed at conservation of biodiversity through livelihood intervention. So basically we try to bind conservation and livelihood together so that bioresources can be conserved in Goa, as well as people can get something out of it. We can strengthen livelihood. So Goan come with various innovative products. We constantly try to incorporate innovation, but most important, we try to keep the traditional knowledge and ancient cultural practices in the recipes. So last year we developed a new product with the help of 24 is Rosita drink, which is a cashew apple concentrate. We usually locally call it as a Nira. It is actually a Nira drink. What happens? Cashew apple juice is liked by everyone, and we can enjoy that juice only for April to May, because cashews are available only in the month of April-May. This Rosita drink which we have developed is we can store it for 6 months so that we can enjoy the cashew apple juice throughout the year. And most important is the crush after extracting the juice. We are used to make a sweet candy, which is usually which is called as a cashew apple crunch. It's a sweet candy. Again, it is formulated by ICAR. So there is zero wastage in this process. We constantly try to minimize the wastage and make proper use of bioresources so they don't get waste in Goa. Now sustainability is such a thing, is like we try to constantly improve our product, our systems. so that these resources can be uh, I want to tell you, we mainly focus on non-destructive sustainable harvesting practices. We try to create awareness of non-destructive sustainable harvesting practices. Again, we use semi-automated machinery. Mostly, most of the products are hand curated, so that it we can keep the traditional knowledge, or we can keep the traditional taste in our products.
So, one thing I was fascinated, we've visited your facility last year, and one amazing product that I came across was, you see this cashew apple. So the cashew apple traditionally we'll just chew and we'll spit out the thing, right? But the fibrous part.
That fibrous
Yeah.
part, yeah.
So your company, you all had done using reverse osmosis. You all had created a candy out of it.
Candy.
And we were able to eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought it's quite fascinating.
Yeah,
And
nothing
the other
gets
thing I wanted to ask you also, is it true that your packaging, on your Goan, the nuts, when you scan the QR code, you can actually find out which farmer
Which
produced it,
farmer.
and you can trace
Yeah,
it down to the
trace
origin
it
precise. It's fascinating. And, so please could you tell us more about how you came up with that, and what made you come up with the idea of kind of tracking it right to the source? How does it help the farmer?
Okay, we try to reach mostly underreached farmers, because there are a lot of farmers, they have trees, fruits gets waste because they cannot reach to the market. So we try to procure bioresources from these farmers, so that they also get a livelihood opportunity.
It's a very good point, sir. I think in the previous session you had raised a question. You had said ki why a certain Goan nuts are not being. See, this kind of marketing can really help it. If you can trace it down to the exact origin and where it was sourced from and why it is so important, that creates that scarcity and the value for that product. And you can charge a premium. If somebody can trace it down to this thing, you can actually charge a large premium on that particular cashew. And this is how we can elevate, to answer your question, the perception of Goan cashew as something superior, something that we can take right up to the origin. So thank you so much for that, Purva. So now, Mr. Jadhav, as the CEO of Goan Fest Food and Beverage, what inspired you to create a range of products using cashew apple? And just to kind of tie into what she said there was a lot of wastage. So I believe that your company addresses the wastage issue in a big way. So please could you elaborate on that?
Thank you, Prahlad. Thank you, Prahlad. And before I begin, hats off to Diva Madam and Goa Forest Development Corporation team. Thank you to Diva Madam and the team of Goa Forest Development Corporation. Hats off to you all. Fantastic event and fantastic platform for all of us to showcase our products. Now, coming to Prahlad's question, the inspiration for Goan Fest. Let me reframe the question a bit differently. What is the problem that Goan Fest is trying to solve? Now, Goa is, I would say, like God's own country. We've been blessed with a tremendous amount of biodiversity, varied flora and fauna. The fruits and the vegetables that we have here, grown here locally, they're extremely rich in terms of the nutritional value, and for a food company like us, they have a completely different flavor and taste profile as compared to your traditional fruits that you get. So that's a sort of a blessing that we have. But the issue is whether it's cashew apple that is grown here, jackfruit, kokum, bimli, your karmali, that's star fruit. The amount of post-harvest losses that you have is mind-boggling. Just to share some numbers for jackfruit or kokum, the post-harvest losses are as high as 60 to 70%. Now, if you go to cashew apple, the losses increase to, numbers vary, but more than 90% of the cashew apple that is actually grown is virtually lost, except perhaps for Goa, which we have Urrak and Feni, which is a blessing. If you look at the entire Konkan belt right up to Kerala, most of the cashew apple that are produced are lost. So that is one issue that we have been that has been bugging us, and we are trying to, solve this problem. Now, why does this happen? Now, one of the main reasons is the highly perishable nature of a lot of these products. Now, cashew apple, for the products that we produce, we need to harvest them from the trees and process them on the same day itself, which is quite a challenge, or the fruit starts fermenting right away. To a lesser extent, the same is also true for the other fruits. So perishability is a main issue. Another important issue is the knowledge. I mean, a lot of people all over India are not aware of most of these fruits. I mean, I would say 90% of India doesn't know that cashew has a fruit associated with it, cashew apple. If you talk about kokum, perhaps Western India, if you leave aside Western India and bit of South India, people don't know that there is a fruit like kokum which is there. Same with bimli, besides our Goa and part of Maharashtra and Karnataka. No one knows what this is. Now, when I'm talking of the nutritional content that is there in a lot of these fruits, cashew apple, in terms of vitamin C, I think it has the highest level of vitamin C. A lot of people are surprised when we tell them that in the world, amongst all the fruits that is there, the highest level. People keep on talking about the citrus range of fruits for vitamin C, but cashew apple is much richer than that, 5 times richer than your citrus. Bimli, extremely good for blood sugar control. So, along with this nutritional value, you also have a completely different taste profile. Now, the second issue that I was talking of is marketability. Since the fruits are not well known, how do you find market for all of these products? Would people accept it beyond the traditional belt? So that is another challenge which is there. Now, third issue is a lot of these fruits are seasonal fruits. So how do you ensure, I mean, if you develop a brand and create products out of it, how do you ensure that your products are available throughout the year? That is the third challenge. Fourth challenge is the infrastructure, both at storage, cold store level, manufacturing level, that is not available. There is one more challenge, the technology to handle all of this, that is not available. Now, what if you sum all of this up, what it amounts to is for all of these fruits, there is a huge amount of income loss to the marginal farmers because a lot of this simply goes waste. It's a waste of our national resource. Second part is we are also depriving, in a way, we are depriving the greater country, India, in terms of the high nutrition that these products can offer. So the gist is the problem that we are trying to solve is how do we come out of this? What is the solution for this? So in terms of solution, so this is what we were trying to tackle at Goan Fest. There is a common theme between all of us. our brain cells were stimulated during, the lockdowns and COVID that happened. So I've been an investment banker throughout my life. My partners, we were talking about this for ages, for years. But COVID is what stimulated us to do something about it. Say, my partner Amul Mahali from Kanpur, Chetan Goyani, we thought that, hey, let's stop talking about it and let's do something about it. So that's where Goan Fest started. Now, how do you? I mean, I've elaborated the problem. How do you solve this problem? So, number one, we spent almost 4 years. We put a team together. We set up a R&D team and developed products of using all of these excellent fruits that are God-given blessing for all of us here. So, in terms of cashews, we have created a fruit drink, a sort of a version of Nero as we know it, but that has a shelf life of 6 months and available throughout the year. We have cashew apple chutney which is there. We've created cashew butter. We of course have seasoned cashews in our portfolio. We are also coming out with cashew apple sauce. Excellent sauce can be made out of it. So we are doing R&D on that product. Along with this, we have in our portfolio fruit beverages made out of bimli, made out of kokum, out of jackfruit. We have jams, we have chutneys, and we also are developing a lot of other snacks out of these food products. So that is the first step, development of the product. Second is, I was talking about the lack of knowledge about all of this. So how do you educate the customers? How can you create a market of it? That's a major challenge. I mean, you can making product, as we have seen, is the easier part of it. Creating a market is the difficult part of it. So we have tackled that in our own way. The third is we have created the infrastructure. We have developed manufacturing technologies adopted from whatever is available in the market to manufacture all of these products on a commercial scale. Now, another important part is this is again a work in progress for us to create a supply chain right from the farmers to factory. So we have created and in the process of creating cold storage infrastructure, transport and logistics to handle that issue. Now coming to the market part of it, which I said is the most critical missing piece in this. We have, after the product development, we have focused on developing Goan Fest as a brand. And in developing that Goan Fest as a brand, we have benchmarked ourselves against the top of the line companies globally as well as in India. So in terms of the product quality, by that I mean the taste and flavor profile and nutritional value, we know we are one of the best in the world. Along with that, we have appropriate packing technologies, labeling technologies, packing, labeling, to number one, increase the shelf life and make it into a world-class looking product in terms of branding and marketing effort. So the effort is to make Goan Fest into a premium, well-known brand, not only in India, but globally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is really inspiring and incredible what you all have achieved. And, you know, for those of you who are not familiar with their products, next time you take a flight from Mopa to Andaman, you will find your products on the flight, I believe. Right? Congratulations for that. So, thank you. So now I have कितलो वेळ आसा आमकां अकॉर्डिंगली आसा साडे ओके सो आनी एक 5 मिनटां एक so thank you for your insights. Now just a quick question, how do you this anyone can take on the panel, when you're it's first of all hi. Oh, okay. So thank you. So first of all, thank you for taking our Goan traditional recipes all across the country and internationally. And but one question arises is, how do you take the traditional recipes and when you're commercially manufacturing it, how do you make sure that the authenticity of the taste remains? Is that one of the challenges that you find yourselves with? Anyone can take this question.
I can talk about Goan first. It is a challenge, and the only way you can solve it is through R&D. We have literally, developed and thrown away hundreds of recipes. So, just to give you an example, the pickle that we have pickles of jackfruit, we have pickles of korunda, we have tenli pickle and chili pickle, all based on Goan recipes. Now you have jackfruit pickle, which is common in East as well as North India, katal ka achar. But we had to give it a Goan theme because, we have some very excellent pickles in terms of taste profile in Goa. But then what you need, the challenges there are in the process itself in terms of the spices that you use, timing, and the shelf life. The mix of spices that you use and impact on its shelf life. Even the stage at which you add that, the temperatures or the manufacturing process that we use. So it's a process of making and discarding, tasting it out, tasting the taste and the shelf life of the various items to finally come out with the right mix or the right recipe.
For me, I feel, anyways, we have created a product which is not out there in the market. So there's nothing to do with tradition or a taste profile. So it's for us to kind of take that R&D, as he rightly said, and understand the palate. That has to be universal across the belts, not just within India. And I think it's also important at times where we get stuck. Maybe a contrary view. We get stuck on traditions a lot or traditional recipes a lot. But if you're trying to commercialize it and it's not adaptable, then there's no point of it. So if you want to commercialize it, you have to adapt it to something that will suit to the every person's palate, right? So taking those things into consideration, if it means, at least for our brand, when we do something like just a standard cashew miso, which can be within the vegan butter range and things like that, to replacing, say, a sesame paste that a lot of Asian cooking utilizes, or to use it within ice creams and other things. And then we create something which goes towards more of a modern take, because a lot of people now, at least the restaurants, I would say, utilize black garlic and other things. So it kind of takes into that profile where people are then attracted by the name or the packaging to at least try it out. Because just a cashew miso by itself typically doesn't, it's not going to, someone's going to look at it and be like, what do I do with it? So having those little, tweaks or twirls, same thing with the Goan pesto, right, for us to do. So I did this seminar for a bunch of, I think it was mostly Americans and British people, and it was mostly on like my fermentation journey with what I'm doing at Brown Kochi Boy, but we were supposed to do a few recipes. So doing that Goan pesto actually clicked or connected with a lot of them, that you utilize something that is, great by itself, but like most people wouldn't adapt to. But then taking it next step, pesto is sort of universal in terms of understanding what it is, but then applying it that way also helps. So I think, with anything traditional or that dates back to centuries is obviously important. But if it doesn't have that value that goes forward, then, there's no real looking forward to it.
Thank you. Talking about trial and error, one thing that I have to share is I was at Prachit's place one time, and he was trying out this paneer. You had done something with fermented paneer, and that fermented paneer, it didn't work out exactly how he wanted to, but it was tasting like a fantastic blue cheese. Remember, we tasted it, and I was like, we've created something new out of with paneer. So it can sometimes work and create something new and exciting that you can then use as a blue chip dip or something like that.
Now we do sell it. We've perfected that recipe. So, yeah.
So it actually turned out to become a product. Congratulations. Okay, so I think if anybody, now we'll open the floor to any questions anyone want to have. We have another 15 minutes to go. Oh yeah, सामके. ना सामके कोंकणीन 100%.
थँक्यू. जाधव सर, तुमकां एक प्रश्न आसा की आमी येदोळच्यान डिस्कस केलें काजूच्या बाबतीन की काजूच्या बाबतीन रोस्टेड काजू अँड ड्रम रोस्टेड काजू दोन प्रकार असतात ताका. ड्रम रोस्टेड काजू
Now your favorite app is bigger and better. Plus, English, Konkani and Marathi content. Plus, issues from Karwar to Ratnagiri. Plus, the Goan Everyday, Goan Varta, Bhangarpui, Konkan Saath, Goan Varta Live and Konkan Saath Live all on single app. All this and much more. Prudent Plus app. Download now. Now your favorite app is bigger and better.
निर्याचेर केलें. निरो म्हटलं तो पयलो प्रॉडक्ट ताचो. आमी एक प्रॉडक्ट जाता भितरल्यान जो प्री मॅच्युअर कॅज्यू असतात न्ही, प्री मॅच्युअर ज्यो झाडा वयल्यान काडटात आमी हरव्यो आसतना, आनी तेका म्हणटात बिबो. आनी बिब्याक ह्या डिमांड खूब आसता मार्केटान, आनी तो सगळ्यान चड म्हारग आसता. सगळ्यान चड इट इज कॉस्टलियर दॅन ऑल दीस. आनी ताका डिमांड चड आसता. ते बियाचे भाजी म्हणून सुद्धा त्याचे उपयोग केलो वता. तो एक बिब्याचो एक विषय तुम्ही घेवपाचो. बिबो सुद्धा एक पार्ट ऑफ दॅट आयटम. ताजे नंतर आनी कोण असले उरलेले आतां, आनी कोण असले ना, तोच बिबो हो भितर एक इन्क्लूड करपाक जाय. हय 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 तशें न्ही. पण कितें आसा सर, कितें आसा, बिबो म्हणटात तो हें करून कितें उगडून सोडलेलो बिबो म्हणटात ताका, कळ्ळें न्ही. तेका डिमांड चड आसा मार्केटान. आनी मार्केटान येतात न्ही बिबे आतां. तशें न्ही, पण बिबे येतात मार्केटान, अवेलेबल आसा. तुमी पळयलां आसतलें न्ही. तुमी हें करपाक शकना, कळ्ळें न्ही तुमकां. अशें आसा. हय 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 हय.
Did you understand the question? Or okay.
की सर
कितले फार्मर्सा कडल्यान तुम्ही तुमचे रॉ मटेरियल सोर्स आउट करता आणि तुमचो प्रोडक्ट करता, आणि किती प्राइस दिता? कारण शेतकारा बद्दल विचार किती प्राइस दिता मार्केटान? तांकां आयज काजी 100 रुपया 120 रुपया किलो वता.
बरोबर.
तुम्ही किती दिता?
आम्ही काजू जो आसा, काजूची बी ती आम्ही डायरेक्ट फार्मरा कडल्यान घेतात.
कितले फार्मर्स?
आता आमचे हेतून आता सगळे प्रोडक्ट धरले जाल्यार 50च्या वयर फार्मर्साचो कॉन्टॅक्ट आसा आमचे कडेन.
ओके.
तुम्ही कितलो प्रोक्युर करतात?
प्राइस किती घेता म्हणता तुम्ही? प्राइस
काजू आम्ही तेंचो कितें प्राइस सध्या तरी आम्ही तो कितें प्राइसान दितात तशेंच घेता आम्ही, त्या प्राइसांनीच घेतात सध्या काजू तरी.
तातूंत सस्टेनेबिलिटी किती उरली मॅडम?
ना मॅडम, आनी तुम्ही मागीर हांव उलयतां.
तातूंत सस्टेनेबिलिटी किती उरली? तुम्ही एक शब्द वापरलो, सस्टेनेबिलिटी. ओके. जर म्हाका तुम्ही ते 120 रुपयान जर काजू घेता न्ही, कारण लँडिंग प्राइस ऑफ अ इम्पोर्टेड काजू इज अराउंड 60 to 70 रुपीजान मेळटा, कळ्ळें?
What I said earlier.
सॉरी?
What I said earlier.
या that's what I meant to say. सस्टेनेबिलिटी म्हणटा न्ही, एका शेतकारान तुमचे कडेन परत कित्याक लागून दिवचें, जेन्ना ताका एक फायदो मेळटा त्या प्राइस मेळटा. एका एंटरप्रेनरान तुमच्या शेतकारा कडल्यान कित्याक घेवचें? बट ही इज डॅम शुअर दॅट द सोर्स वॉट ही इज गेटिंग इज प्युअर अँड ऑथेंटीक. right? The imported Vietnamese or something which you are getting, you don't know what is that. One thing you should appreciate that Goan farmer cannot काज झाडा वयल्यान तोडना, सकयल पडल्या उपरांतच तोडटा. So that's the reason, because the niche type of cashew आम्ही develop करपाचे म्हणटा, because the kernel is fully developed when it is harvested, as compared to what is done in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Odisha or Andhra Pradesh. That is good for butter, cashew milk and all, ते चिविल्ले काजू पण, but Goan farmer तसं केन्ना करना. So obviously he requires a higher demand. That's what I wanted to ask you. Because if anybody we want to suggest tomorrow, go to Goan 1, because it should be something out of the box, different कितें तरी आसपाक जाय. तुम्ही जर तातूंतल्यानच करता जाल्यार शेतकार तुमच्या कडल्यान येवचो कनेक्ट जावचो ना. कारण समथिंग कितें जाता, कमर्शियल एंगल पळयनाका. तुम्ही बायोडायव्हर्सिटी म्हणटा जाल्यार तुम्ही ना, तुमचो कमर्शियल एंगल ना. तुम्ही म्हणटा की बायोडायव्हर्सिटी सशंग आहे, तुम्ही ट्रेडिशनल वापरले. तुम्ही म्हणता मॉडर्न युजर टेक्नॉलॉजी तुम्ही यूज करता, तातूंत ट्रेडिशनलिटी कितें उरली?
ट्रेडिशनल आणि मॉडर्न दोन्ही, म्हणजे अशें न्ही की एकदमच ट्रेडिशनल. थोडे मॉडर्न गोष्टी जाय पडटा, टेक्नॉलॉजी थोडी इनकॉर्पोरेट करच्यो पडटा. सो हांव म्हणना की सगळे फुल्ली ऑटोमेटेड आसा, बट सेमी ऑटोमेटेड सिस्टम्स आमी यूज करतात. हँड क्युरेटेड प्रोडक्ट आमी म्हणजे मेन फोकस पिकल्स बी आसात, सो दॅट वी कॅन यूज लेस मशिनरी, लेस एनर्जी रिसोर्सीस. आणि इवन ट्रेडिशनल प्रॅक्टिसीस कित्याक म्हणटात, कित्याक प्रेझर्वेटिव्ह आणि ह्यो गोष्टी आसा त्यो कमी यूज जावचे अशें.
The last question to Mr. Chadav. There are 4 products what you have mentioned. With little knowledge about that, one is Bilimbi, second is Karambola, what is Karamal you call it. Third one is Cashew, fourth one is Kokum, and fifth one is Jackfruit. Apart from Cashew, all these products are highly perishable. They are climatic fruits. It means their shelf life is very in 1 or 2 days, not much than that. And ironically, out of these 5 products, 4 products are coinciding with the rainfall, because they come up at the first monsoons. They are ready with that at the first monsoons. Most of it, like jackfruit, kokum also. So, amba then ठीक है. That's a, but Goan mangoes are not this thing. Goan, we are talking about Goan, but Goan mangoes only 3 or 4 varieties, which leads up to June, because that's they are well for acquainted for that. So in regards to the how many Goan farmers you look at, you are sourcing from your products from the Goan thing for this particular raw material of this thing, and how they are benefited. Because why I'm asking you this thing, I don't feel bad with that, with no offenses. The only reason is that tomorrow if any farmer comes on to me, I should have something on platter to say that बाबा तुम्ही हांगा वचनाका, तुमकां बागायतदारान जर 120 रुपयान मेळटा, गोवानाकडे चलत 130 रुपयान मेळटा म्हणून सांगपाक मेळपा जाय. जर भिण्णां जर अशी पडोन पाड जाता जाल्यार हांव शेतकाराक म्हणूंक शकता बाबा तूं भिण्णां तूं पाड करनाका, गोवन फेस्ट आसा तांकां कॉन्टॅक्ट कर, ते येवन तुजे कडेन व्हरतल्यान ते फटाफट तुजे कडल्यान म्हणजे पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट लॉसेस कमी जातले. कन्सर्न इज दॅट. इफ दॅट कॅन कम डाऊन, बिकॉज वी वॉन्ट टू लुक आउट फॉर दॅट. We are extension workers. We would like to look out for the farmers, ki how we can promote it. Because Pratyek 40, as Mr. Samant is a Krishi Ratna, he is concerned with that. Maka maja product kide price maita ka म्हणून. He's going down with his product, but he's not getting that price, because when he goes in the market, he's lost. Because in the other entrepreneurs will prefer to have a lower price. And now, I don't want to comment on that. Now, if you see the market, it is not a niche type of market, especially with regards to cashew. It is influxed with lot of impurities which have come down, and it's totally polluted. And in the name of Goan Kaju, 10% Goan Kaju असतलो, 90% भायलो काजू वता. Okay?
सर हे सगळीकडे चालला. म्हणजे जवळ आम्ही तो विषय कित्याक काढला, कारण हे आम्ही जे ओरिजिनली आम्ही काजू प्रोड्युसर्स आसा हांगासरले, तांकां कांय मेळना. एका टायमार 170 रुपया किलो काज आशिल्ली. मान्य करतात न्ही तुम्ही? 170 रुपया काज आशिल्ली, आनी आज ती काज आमकां 115 रुपया मेळटा. आणि ते सुद्धा आता सरांनी म्हटले त्या प्रमाणे 65 to 70 रुपीज लँडिंग रेट, रॉ मटेरियलाचो लँडिंग रेट आसा. हय घेवया. सॉरी.
Hello.
Right question. पण मी मराठीत उत्तर देतो. पण आपण म्हणजे मेन इश्यू जो आहे, आम्ही आमच्या परीनं प्रयत्न करणार, पण त्याचं इम्पॅक्ट जो आहे तो लिमिटेड. तर प्राईज इश्यू जे आहे ते पॉलिसी लेवलवर